Hey team, this is Casey.
And this is Shannon, and you're listening to 8 Count Breakdown.
Your home for all things college dance all in one place.
Today, we are breaking down Division 1.
We had so much fun watching all of these routines back. So much talent, so much creativity.
Yeah.
Innovation was a
That's
word
a
that
word
kept,
that came
kept
up a
coming
lot.
up. I'm really pumped to talk about these. So let's just dive right in.
So we are going to start with POM, just like we did last week. So Cal State Fullerton is first. Back-to-back champs. They were initially second after semis and then came out on top at the end. They had movement songs as their theme. You Can Do It by Ice Cube, How Low by Ludacris, Get Low by Lil Jon, It Takes Two by Rob Bass, and DJ Easy Rock. So very fun mix. It was choreographed by Quentin Perrone.
Two of the last songs in their dance was Get Low by Lil Jon and It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. And it reminded me of The Proposal.
Oh, I don't
with
know
Sandra
that.
Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. You haven't seen that?
No.
Oh my gosh. And I'm curious. I'm so curious if it was intentional, those two songs, because so in the movie, she's like dancing around the fire with the grandma. She's singing like to the window, to the wall. And she gets so into it. And the grandma, Betty White, is like, all right, like, let it out, girl. And then at another point, the two of them start singing It Takes Two by, okay, I can't believe you haven't seen this. This is
so sorry.
an iconic
Maybe
rom-com movie.
Watch that clip. I don't watch.
You just have to watch the whole thing. If anybody from Cal State Fullerton listens to this, please let me know
We need
if
to know.
it was intentional because of The Proposal. Because I'm like,
both those songs.
Like, how is it coincidental that those two songs, and they were like back to back?
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress.
And they're back-to-back champs. Some things that we saw in this dance were that it was very crispy. If you haven't listened to our last episode about what it takes to be called a crispy routine, go back and listen. Super crispy. Very original groups that they did. Instead of doing like clumps that you see a lot of teams do where they're like moving in a clump across the stage, like there were groups like in a circle with people through them, just like the way that they grouped people in the choreography was very creative. There were 3 dancers that did a triple leg hold turn, and then one of them like did a 4th like leg lift with her leg up.
She's fabulous.
Nuts. That's insane. My whole leg hurts.
Just watching.
Just watching it. That takes so much strength. Yeah, great musicality, very stylized POM. They committed to the style and it just felt very authentic, very intentional with all of their feet and just hitting every single placement so sharp.
So reminding you guys what their profile picture was, it was a picture of the team inside this like open window on a rock, and the rock relates to jazz, but the open window I think is like about get low.
Yeah.
To the window, to the wall.
To the wall.
I don't know why the window's open, but that is my guess.
Coming in second was UC Santa Barbara. So they were 6th last year, and they were initially first after semis and then flipped with Cal State Fullerton. They danced to a really fun mix that gave kind of like winning, determined, like ready to fight for that top spot mindset. It was choreographed by Danny Eustace. Consultants were Laura Nares, Serena Struble Flores, Mackenzie, Kaylin Flores, and Tavai DeMello. They had really clean turns in this dance, incredible jumps. Like every time anyone jumped on that team, I was like taken aback, jaw on the floor. So really fun routine there. Hofstra came in 3rd in this category. They had Turn Up the Energy by the Mondays, Get Loud by Valley of Wolves, like a G6. It was very level up.
The parts of the music that they were using were very like, more, we want more, turn up the energy, turn up the sound. And I feel like in a way that kind of tied into their motto this year. It was about their purpose beating the pressure. When they described it to us, they were talking about the pressure of winning and doing so well last season and coming in this year and just like wanting to level up and take it to the next level without that necessarily being winning.
One of the biggest thing that I noticed beginning to end is that they continued to build and build and build all the way until the end. They ended this dance doing round off layouts, doing double back handsprings. Like that's after a full 3rd place POM routine in this division. Like nuts.
Crazy. In their Instagram caption, they said, when you think of a Hofstra POM routine, you think athletic, strong, visual, tricked out and powerful. And
Yep.
Yep.
That all checks
Check,
out.
check.
Honestly.
I do think that every year. And I think we've talked about that in recent episodes that like when we think about Hofstra, like that's what we expect. So when they told us in our like what to look for, our episode before Nationals, we were like, yeah, of course, you're Hofstra. We wouldn't expect anything less.
Like regardless of placement, like they always are very consistent in what they bring and how strong it is. And I always feel like I think that their team is bigger than it is because of how big they dance and how much energy they bring. They fill that whole stage. And I'm always like, they've got like 50 people on their team. Like their yellow palms pop.
I love the yellow palms. So Dylan Salcido, he is like lifted by the team into this like center split, which was just so fun. And you could tell he was having the time of his life. I'm obsessed.
Seeing that. Yeah.
I love him.
And then he like flipped out of it.
Yes.
So
I
cool.
usually watch Hofstra's routines like a couple times to like watch the whole team and then just watch him the whole time. He just is a ball of energy. And then their profile picture was an erupting volcano, and out of the volcano there was a cloud of smoke with the following emojis: a tennis shoe, a Minecraft sword, a piranha, an airplane, fire, a shield, a lightning bolt, and a stop sign that represented like the different phrases said throughout their song. I think they said something about like, I've got my shield and my sword or something like that.
And then like a G6 would be like the airplane.
Was the airplane?
Yeah. So way to go, Hofstra, for continuing to bring the energy year after year. Next up in fourth, we have University of Nebraska, Omaha. Their theme was mess with the bull, you get the horns.
It's stuck in my head. You get the horns, get the horns, get the horns.
They did grooves at that part, like aerial to their knees. It's
so hard. It's so hard hitting.
Jillian Zagorski choreographed that of Tribe 99. But yeah, full of energy, just beginning to end. Full team handstand into the front roll was so cool and so clean. Handstands just have to be the hardest thing to clean. Like every time I kick up into a handstand, I'm like, I have no idea where my feet are in the air. None whatsoever.
I literally like my legs go up and go right back down.
Mine do too sometimes.
You're faking it. You're and I'm like, no, I literally like I have no balance with my upper body.
Yeah.
I go up and I come right back down.
I don't know how you can kick up to the same spot every time. And they had to do that in unison. Yep. So props to you guys.
Impressive.
A lot of strength for these like very quick movements that they had in their choreo that takes so much strength to get there so quickly. And I feel like it takes more strength like in your triceps
and like your chest.
Yeah. Keeping your core stable to like so that your body doesn't move while you're doing those quick moves. And then keeping that like synchronized too of like super small quick movements is very hard. And then they used the floor well, just lots of movement all the way across the floor. Coming in fifth was North Dakota. They had a couple of like old school rock songs at the beginning of their dance, and I thought that was going to be the theme, and then they threw me off.
Yeah, it was fun.
So fun.
I'm a big fan of Simply Irresistible.
Yeah, very hype routine, hype song that was mixed by Aaron Morentik of Citadel Productions. The choreography was done by their coach, Aaliyah Kretschmann, and their team. Their consultants were Megan Wabner, Alyssa Jacobs, Lindsey Brown, and Sarah Johnson. Their costume was very original to me. They had an asymmetrical skirt, which I found very catching, like to the eye. It was very cute and just like added some more visual elements, which is huge in pom. We've seen a lot of teams, we'll talk about it in jazz, but do that, like adding visuals with their costume. They ended their turns on a knee, which was a super cool visual and different. I love when people do different things out of their turns and just like having a lot of fun in this routine. It was very fun. It reminded me of a party on stage that they were just like, everyone get up and dance.
We were vibing along.
For sure.
And their profile picture, I have no idea. It was Vecna dressed as a pimp with blonde braids. And I don't know. NDSU, if you want to tell me what your profile picture was about, I am so curious. Everybody had Vecna in their profile picture. And we thought that meant that everybody's going to have the same song.
Yes, we did.
But
that was our prediction. Something that they said to us before Nationals of like their mindset and just things to look for was that every moment on the floor was going to be authentic, showcasing performances that were undeniably and uniquely true to the athletes themselves. And I felt like that's why we felt like it was a party and they were having so much fun because they were just like being themselves. Like when you're yourself, you can have so much fun and like let loose. And I felt that on the floor. In sixth was South Dakota State University. They had a really fun Latin mix. They had Shakira, Pitbull, and they really matched their choreography with the songs. The song mix was by Sounds Like That. It was choreographed by Anna Kate Hermanson and Destiny Ridge. Every time there was a jump in this dance, my jaw was on the floor. Crazy jumps. And I think that's just like these athletes are getting stronger and stronger every year and seeing how high they can jump.
And the pop.
Yes.
Like when they hit their peak, it like goes just like
a
little bit further and you're like,
Yes.
it's like,
It's so satisfying.
it's so satisfying. Chef's kiss.
Anyway, great groups, great movement, transitions. Like I said, they added a Latin vibe to their choreo, which just always makes me like move my hips and my shoulders while I'm watching them.
If you do a Latin vibe, just know that Shannon's dancing with you.
In 7th, we have St. Joseph's, which was choreographed by Shannon Perez, and we unfortunately do not have a video of this one. We reached out and we'll update you in a future episode. We watched it, but we just don't have a video to go back and recap it for you. So
when we were watching it on the live stream, we couldn't pick up on what the overall theme or what the songs were. So if anybody from St. Joseph's is listening, please send us a video because we want to watch and we want to give you your flowers and highlight you.
So with that, we have Harvard in 8th place. They had kind of just another fun mix that didn't quite have a specific theme, but very much school pride. It started with Crimson is in my DNA as part of their lyrics. So
are they the Crimson?
Yeah. And then there was a song that I think was called Cherry Bomb. And crimson is a red color, right? So I didn't know if maybe crimson was the theme. But then it had some Tate McRae that didn't have anything to do with crimson.
Sports cars can be red.
Yes, they can. Okay, this was choreographed by Joseph Bridgeforth. They had a small but mighty team, super strong. They made program history, and I want to know more about all of the program history that they made this year. So Harvard, if you could share more, would love to know. This was their first year in finals, and they committed to this dance, beginning to end. I think it was their ferocity that got them here. They did that, and they should be so proud of themselves that, any other team could have taken that choreo and not committed the way that they did and not made it to finals. And you could see it in their eyes. You could see it in their movement. And I'm just really proud of them. Way to go, Harvard. In 9th, we have Loyola, another team that was not in finals last year and made it this year. Their song mix was produced by Monster Mix Productions. Their team described this dance as confident, focused, connected, with songs like Don't Stop Me Now, Flawless by Beyonce, Proud Mary. It was choreographed by Stephanie Raciak, and just lots of hits and holds in this dance that made some really, really nice pictures. It's very satisfying when you have the picture and you can hold it. I feel like, especially with POM getting faster and faster and faster each year, while we love the quick movements and it's fun to watch how fast teams can go,
it's hard to follow sometimes.
Yes.
When it gets so fast. I need a moment to breathe. So if there's a hit and hold moment where you're like, wow, and that allows you during the dance to digest what you just watched happen, I love that.
Yes.
As a spectator, I really appreciate that.
I think it's underrated. Hit and holds are underrated in the POM category right now.
Bring back hit and holds 2027.
That's what I'm saying. 10th, we have Central Connecticut. Again, not in finals last year. They had a school pride theme. It was almost like a game day POM routine. Sometimes in game day, we're like, oh, I wanted more of the dancing, right? And I feel like that's what they gave us here. It was choreographed by Josh Fletcher and Melissa Brennan. Super clean, crispy beginning. Oh my gosh. The first 48 counts of this dance, I was like, oh, they did a full team C jump. I wanted to call this out because back in my day, we did so many C jumps. C jumps and axles were in every dance. Bring back C jumps, and I'm already seeing a lot of axles come back, but this dance was the first time I had seen a full team C jump in a long time, and I was like, that was really good. All of their knees behind their hips. When we were doing C jumps, they weren't pretty. But yeah, this was a really fun routine, and super proud of Central Connecticut for making it to finals.
Okay, so moving on to the hip hop category. In first place, we had Weber State. It was their first year at UDA. And last year, for reference in hip hop, they won Division I national title. So back-to-back champs, just at different competitions. Their song was a Let's Go remix by Trick Daddy, Lil Jon, Twista. Choreography was Andrew Ellum. Their costumes were giving frat boy chic, and I mean that in the most loving and endearing way possible. It was so fun. And I just said, they're a unit. They, truly, move as one. I've always loved watching the hip-hop categories in every division, but I feel like Weber brought in their own true style, and it was refreshing in a way. And that's not saying anything against the teams that have been going to UDA for years and years and years. I still love watching them, but it was just something that was just new.
I feel like it's just the fact of being new and different and having a new team and a new style. we love a variety.
Mhm.
Like, we don't want every single dance to be
Yeah.
exactly the same. And so it's fun when new teams come in and bring those new styles and just add to the
Mhm.
variety that's already there.
Because I know we talk about jazz being a very diverse category a lot, but I think hip hop can be too,
Mm-hmm.
because teams have their own true style. And I feel that way about so many of these finals teams from D1. That's just like, that one was different than that one, but like they're still using like hip hop music, but they're doing it differently in their bodies based on their program's authenticity. And we're not used to seeing Weber. So seeing their new style brought in is just like, it was so fun.
I feel like there's so much more culture infused into hip hop than there is in jazz. Everyone comes from their own culture of dance, and I feel like that expresses itself best in hip hop, and that's why there's so much variety there.
Yeah, I mean, even in hip hop music at its core, you
Yes.
listen to LA hip hop, and that's different from Atlanta hip hop, and that's different from Chicago hip hop, and that's different from New York hip hop. And there's also like Bad Bunny, Puerto Rico. But like everywhere that you go, there's different like influences on the
Mhm.
music. That's true with like hip hop in dance as well. I don't think it's talked about enough because, like I said, everybody talks about, well, jazz is different because there's lyrical and sassy and modern and scary, hard hitting, ballet, and there's all these different things. Hip hop is a diverse category as well.
And I don't think that people understand that you can have as much range of emotion in hip hop as you can in jazz. I think they
Totally.
see the range of emotion more in jazz because
It's so drastic.
it's so dramatic.
dramatic.
Yes. And in hip hop, it's a little more nuanced.
It can be more subtle and
Yeah.
nuanced. Yeah. And that's not even talking about like the sassy hip hops that we're bringing in. Like if we're talking about like the femininity of just like having a Beyonce style hip hop, like a Cardi B, and like those women have their own influences from where they're from. Like Beyonce always is going to have that like Houston, Texas,
Mhm.
like at her core. I got to move on because I could talk about this
Yeah.
forever.
But it's a good point to make about the overarching category that we're talking about.
Yes, yeah. And I think that's just why I love hip hop so much.
Woo.
Moving on to second, St. John's. They actually didn't make it to finals last year.
Whoa.
And that was like a big deal. So the years prior to that, they were in second. Both Delaware and them dropped from
Yeah.
being the first and second place teams in 2024 to not making it to finals last year. Delaware had the big storyline because they moved to Division 1A, but like St. John's is in that too. They were the second place team in 2024, didn't make finals in 2025, and now they're back. They were in first place going into finals after semis and got second, which is still just incredible. And I'm sure they're so happy to
Mhm.
just be back at finals. They had like a rock theme and not like rock music, not like AC/DC. Like it was like a rock with me, rock with you, rock like Jenny, rock your body. Their choreography was done by Julie Johnson, Kristen Johnson, and Clarissa Turner. Their dance was just very hard hitting and like they had very crisp tricks, very crispy tricks. And then they had some really, really, really cool footwork. They did the Running Man and it made me giggle. I loved it. Oh my gosh. Mikey May is one of their dancers and he like ran and there were 4 dancers. Like you see this in like break dancing.
Dance crews do this
Dance
a lot.
crews
Yeah.
made me think of like Step Up. But there were 4 dancers bent over and Mikey May runs and like does this like twisting, like a side tuck almost, but like this twisting tuck jump over the dancers. It was just so cool. And like you didn't even see the setup coming. Like everybody's still dancing. These 4 dancers are like in the back, like getting together. And then all of a sudden everybody drops and he just like
Flies over them.
and you're like, whoa, it was just crazy. Go watch this dance. It's hard to describe everything. It's just such a good routine.
There's so much happening in
There's
it.
so much
Yeah.
happening, dynamic groups, just everything. Just go watch it. In third place, Utah Valley. They called this dance Hope. They like ended their final formation. Their body spelled out hope. But they had songs like Lazarus by Trip Lee, Godzilla by Eminem, and Hope by NF. Choreography was done by Dietrich. Assistant was Eric Solorio. and consultants were Suzanne Bagley and Elise Bagley. And when we asked them what can they tell us about their routines, they told us that Dietrich said it's going to be an airstrike, and if they execute their vision, this routine is sure to leave a lasting impression. And it did. They had these like lines on the back of their pants. So they had the camo pants, but then they had these lines that they played with them so nicely with the choreo. It just made it like a fun element to watch.
Dietrich does a lot of like visuals with lines, like geometric. I would describe his choreography as very geometric. But having those lines, I feel like, is very conducive to Dietrich's choreo.
Yeah, and it was just crisp. They had lots of good floor work, and then just creative full group clump sections. They'd like clump together, and like that's when they would play with the lines on the back of their pants and just made really geometric pictures. Overall, fabulous dance. 4th place was Grand Canyon. They did Kiss Kiss by Chris Brown. And every time Shannon and I watch it, we just sing along.
And just like groove with it. It's such a good song.
Choreographer was Nicole Trigani. I try not to use this word because it makes me feel old. This dance was so swaggy. It was just like very true to like the era of this song, but just like very groovy and very like, hey, the whole time. And then overall, I want to be in this one. This is like, can I audition to be in this dance?
It's my application.
Can I go back in time and be in this dance? I will apply to GCU and everything. If you ever perform the dance again, I will learn it and I will come perform at a basketball game halftime with you guys. Please and thank you. And I would like to take the costume home with me. That is all. In 5th place was St. Thomas. They had like a magician theme. They had multiple songs throughout that were all like magic themed. So of course, you cannot do a magic theme in the year 2026 without doing Abracadabra by Lady Gaga. I'm surprised more teams didn't do that this year.
Yeah, me too.
Choreography was done by London Daniel and Kalia Kohler. So ahead of this year, they told us that they're going to be highlighting a mix of styles in hip hop. And I like truly felt that. Like every song that came on was like a different vibe. And then they also hinted that there would be a fun surprise that captures the energy and the feel of the dance, giving the audience a little something extra to enjoy. But they passed a hat around and they just like passed it so smoothly. You didn't even know it. It was magic.
It really was.
They were making magic tricks happen because you'd be watching and like, you're like, oh, the hat's over there. And you'd watch and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you're like, oh my gosh, the hat's all the way over there. When did that happen? And it was very clean and they just like hit all of their movements so hard and with so much like fight and angst. I have to shout out Izzy Dwyer. I used to teach Izzy Dwyer at Evolution Dance Company in Prairie Lake, Minnesota. And I just like remember like little Izzy and like she had a solo moment in this dance and she did like a headstand and like arched her back and then like kind of like rolled into a kip up. It was very cool. And I'm just like so proud. I'm like, oh my God, I know her. And then I call it like their little magic trick at the end. And it was another moment where their hat just like appeared almost out of nowhere. But if you watch closely, like one of the dancers has the hat, slides it
all the way across
the formation, the perfect amount. Like, how many times did you have to practice that so that you didn't push it too hard and it landed right in front of that dancer that ended up with it to be able to grab it and end with it? And like, it's kind of hidden behind a bunch of dancers. It was so cool and so smooth. And just like, I cannot imagine how many times they had to practice that.
And we watched this dance 4 times, mind you.
Yeah.
And every single time it was so smooth. We're like, again, she did it again.
Wow. Incredible. Great job, St. Thomas. In 6th place was North Dakota. They actually didn't make it to finals last year. Their song was In the End by Linkin Park, and their choreography was by Gabe de Guzman. Consultants were Rebel Roots Choreo, Marca de Castroverde, Sarah Johnson, Brandy Slade, and Lindsey Brown. And I love the use of this song. Like, how creative. Like, it was so original and just so fun. So fun to watch. In 7th place was Southeastern Louisiana University. It started with like Hi Angels, so like Charlie's Angels, and it was confirmed when they posted on Instagram that it was Charlie's Angels SLU style. So very fun, and all the songs kind of matched that vibe. Choreography was done by Lindsay Kamachek and Bella Payne from Tribe 99. This team did have to go off stage and start over. We kind of touched on the UDA music troubles in our last episode, but they came back on and still just like had so much fight. This dance had very smooth transitions. Like you'd be watching and then all of a sudden they're in a new formation. You're like, wait, when did they get there? It was just like so smooth, and they danced through it, and just overall loved the vibe of this dance. In 8th place was College of Charleston, and as soon as they walked on stage, I knew that they were dancing to Justin Bieber. They were wearing the all-white outfit with the white denim jacket with the purple sleeves and the purple hood, and they danced to Somebody to Love by Justin Bieber. Choreography was done by Jonathan Davis and Ashana Leverett. And ahead of this year, they told us that this dance would highlight the team's strengths and allow them to fully lean into their style and energy while having fun in the process. I didn't know, though, that I'd be having fun watching them. This was another one that Shannon and I were just singing along to. I'm obsessed. Shout out to PJ Duncan. He just ate down that performance. Just so fun to watch. He had such great energy for the vibe of this routine. And just like, I love the whole team's energy, and the choreo builds with the songs. The verses are very like smooth and like groovy, but then like the chorus just like starts hitting so hard, and the choreo matches that, and they just like get so into, oh, it's so fun. I am obsessed. And Justin Bieber is back. In 9th place was St. Joseph's. They did like a sticky mix, and again, we don't have a video of this one, but the choreography was done by Shandon Perez and assisted by McKinley Hawks Himuli. And again, St. Joseph's, if you have a video so we can chat about your hip hop, send it our way.
We want to see it.
We want to see it. We want to give you your flowers. And then finally, in 10th was Central Connecticut. This was like, I was 2 for 2. And as soon as a team stepped on stage, I said, oh, they're dancing to Me Against the Music by Britney Spears and Madonna.
She did. She knew like all of the lyrics down to the sounds that the singers make. That is the one I'm talking about.
Thanks, Glee.
It's just, you knew it just way, way better than I did.
Did you watch Glee?
Yes, I watched Glee.
It was on Glee. All of our Gleeks sound off in the comments. But yeah, they walked out and I was like, they're doing Me Against Music, Britney Spears. And the choreo is like the perfect fit for this song. Like the choreo could be in the music video. It would just like fit the vibe so well. Oh, and it was choreographed by Kenzie Sherry. And then finally, I wanted to note East Tennessee State, they were 11th place. They just missed finals. Get this, by a 10th of a point.
That was so hard. I feel like that happened multiple times this year, and that is heartbreaking. Normally you see like a pretty large point gap between the teams making finals and not making finals. Like when there's like a drop off, then that's where they'll cut it. And this year we saw more than one team miss it by tenths of points.
I think when we recap 2025, I think I even said that. Like you can see where the cutoff was. Like, okay, that makes sense where the finals teams are. But like this year, like was so close. And I think in hip hop, last year they only took 8 teams to finals. This year they took 10. And they still like had to cut it off, and it was that close. Oh, Tennessee State. Oh, they're going to come back just clawing and fighting next year. But congrats to all of those finals hip hop teams, and East Tennessee. I'm going to watch out for you next year.
Now we're heading to jazz. We have Grand Canyon University in first place. That's their first win. So program history there. They were in 6th last year, so huge jump from last year. They danced to What's Up by 4 Non-Blondes. That was choreographed by Haley Willis, assisted by Jovi Garavalo Bortlio of Tribe 99. When they were talking to us about their mindset heading into nationals, they were big on the storytelling piece and just how much they wanted to make the audience feel something, and that they view themselves as artistic athletes, and they were very into the storytelling piece of it, and that really came through in this. It was very emotional, very modern. We rewatched all of these jazz routines after Palm, and I feel like it's such a stark difference from like in Palm when you have to keep your body so tight and in a box, to go to this jazz dance by GCU that's like so out of their box, so modern. They're making all these different shapes, and with the art and the storytelling and the emotion, they were putting their whole bodies into it. Their chest, their arm, like all the way to their fingertips and toes. It was just really refreshing after you're coming from pom to be like, ooh, look at their whole body move and the ways that it can move. I really felt like they delivered on their goal. I described it as like clean, controlled chaos in like the best way. Like modern really does feel kind of chaotic at times, but when it's as clean as they were and as controlled and technical as it was, it just felt so good.
Yeah. I just love that dance.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. I wanted to talk about their profile picture because I shout out to Faith LaRose, my sweet, sweet girl. I texted her and asked her because the dancers changed their picture to Grimace. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Can you tell me why Grimace? And she said the dance song is like, what's going on? And they had Grimace looking confused. His hands were to symbolize like what's going on.
Like him not knowing what's going on.
Yeah. And then in hip hop, the song says, let's hit McDonald's. I wouldn't have picked that out.
But you can pick any word.
Yeah.
Any word in their lyric and be like, that's the one.
That's the one. And I guess they looked up purple McDonald's because GCU's purple. And then Grimace came up. And then it kind of worked that he was like, what's going on? It's like so niche. I'm like, how can I possibly? But like, that's so fun. Thanks, Faith. Love you, girl.
We need that from every single team, by the way.
Like, break this down for me because I have no idea.
If you could just text us the one lyric that you decided to use for your profile picture, that would be helpful.
So niche.
So moving into second place, we have Cal State Fullerton. They danced to Turn to Stone by Ingrid Michaelson. Beautiful song. Choreographed by Nicole Smith. I described it as a very classic, lyrical, beautiful technique. Some small, quick movements that were super clean. You could just tell like how much cleaning it took to get this dance to where it was, to do all those quick movements in unison. I think we talked about that in Pom, but it's just, it does, as dancers, you know how much time and energy and like you redoing these like little 2 counts over and over and over again until you get it perfect. They also had beautiful transitions that they danced through, like where you just don't even see the transition happening because you're watching the dancing and then all of a sudden they're in a new spot and it flowed so well.
Yeah.
That you just were like on a cloud the whole time you're watching this dance.
I'm going to take your word for it because I don't have the willpower to watch this dance again.
Casey did cry during this dance.
They said, as the season went on, this piece took on a life of its own. What once felt like choreography turned into something real, something personal. We didn't have to force emotion or pretend to understand the message because it was actually a reality for this team. We simply danced our truth, and that is what this dance is meant to be. This routine allowed us to honor destiny, embrace the present, and share something incredibly special together on the UDA floor. They said that on their Instagram. Their emotions were real and raw, and like there's conversations happening on social media right now about like forced facials, which that's a whole different conversation for a different time, but like their facials were just so real and raw and like they just showed their experience in their dance and it was just beautiful. And I think that's what got me. Their story alone already just, my heart is with them, but like the way that they took it and performed it, and it was just,
it's art. It's very much art.
Very well done.
And third, we have Weber State. They danced to When You Say My Name by Mario Spinetti, choreographed by team member Carter. They wore a 2-tone costume for this dance, and that's really hard to do because it was white on one side, black on the other. And they played to that and like were facing different ways for like some parts of the dance to show that like duality. You have to be clean to another level when you have 2-tone costumes like that.
Especially the turns. As soon as your body turns and like the white part of your costume is like further than the white part on somebody else's nope.
Yeah.
That's immediate like
deduction. I mean, yeah. That's tough. And they did it beautifully. Incredibly clean, full team back handspring. That was just one part that I was like, whoa. Like hit you in the face, how clean it was and smooth. There was a small group that did a back tuck, which we saw a lot in Pom, but did not see it in jazz like at all. And it was smooth. Same with the back handspring. Like it was very smooth. They made it flow really nicely. And most of that dance is full or half team choreo. And I thought that was really pretty. It just brought me back to that like classic lyrical vibe of most of the dance being all together as a full team. And because they're so clean, it just was very satisfying. In fourth place, we have Utah Valley. They jumped up from 7th after semis. They danced to Don't Take the Money by Tanner Townsend featuring Hope Broman. It was choreographed by Chelsea Siebes. Consultants were Mackenzie Larkin-Mish. Turn combo by Joelle Banford. I feel like that's the only time we've heard of a specific turn combo being choreographed by someone. That's fun. They had a similar style to Weber, though just very classic lyrical. Something that stuck with me after this routine was their ending pose. I don't know why, but like every time I picture this dance, I picture that ending pose. And every time they rubbed their hands together for the word money. It was so good. Their sparkly green costumes gave me life. Everything sparkles so beautifully under those lights at UDA. That they also did a full team back handspring just like Weber. That was very smooth. So I wonder if that's going to be like a new thing in jazz. Like, I know acro is obviously becoming more popular in like all categories. I feel like now that full teams can do it, it's being taken to another level.
I'm curious how that'll evolve in the future.
Yeah. There's some people that feel very strongly that acro should not be in dance.
Yeah.
But then you see dances like these two where it's like so smooth that it doesn't make you feel like you're like in a gymnastics routine and now you're back to dance.
Nobody's like doing
tumbling pass.
Maybe occasionally here and there, but it's
maybe one person in palm. Sometimes they run and do like a round off layout.
If you aren't aware of the UDA rules, like go listen to our rule book episode because like there are limits to what they can do. They can't just go and do a full tumbling pass. We saw a lot of layouts this year because it was a new skill that was allowed. Go listen to our rules episode. You'll kind of get the gist of what tricks are allowed and what isn't allowed. And like, it's really not that much.
Like, it's not going to turn into gymnastics. So I don't think people have to worry about that.
I'm anti an entire routine being acro, but I'm pro acro.
Yeah.
If it's done well and it's done in a way that's like smooth and fits with the dance and isn't forced.
Yeah. St. Thomas came in 5th. They did a Creep cover by Radiohead.
So good.
So good. It was very emotional. It was choreographed by Courtney Colich Free. And they had skirts on their costumes, and I felt like it added beautifully to the dance, like beautiful movement that came with those skirts. And it has to be in mind when you're choreographing too, that you are choreographing for the whole picture. Yeah. So that was just beautiful. T. We're not sure how much we believe of this, but we have to share it. And you can decide for yourself. If you're from St. Thomas, you can also tell us if this is true. We were told that they decided 2 days before Nationals to take that skirt and body piece off of the highlighted dancer. So there's like one dancer that is kind of like the main character in this story. And when we watched at Best of the Best, she had the skirt.
And she never took off
the body piece that's on them. She ends without it on at Nationals. But when we saw it at Best of the Best, which was less than a week before Nationals, she still had that whole get up on, just like the rest of the team, the whole dance. And so we're curious because that seems like a lot of
to remove the skirt.
A lot of costume work that would have to be done.
So
to make
we
that
were
happen.
told that they decided that 2 days before, but part of me is also curious if like maybe that was the plan and they just didn't reveal it at Best of the Best. For costumes like that attach like a bra piece to a short or skirt piece, usually it's like fastened in some way so that they can put the costume on and then clip everything and pin everything into place. So I'm sure it was easy to be like, oh, okay, we'll just have her like not pin that and like remove it at the end of the dance. But how do we remove the skirt? We just got to remove it all together.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm so curious. I want to know how this came about. If it was always the plan. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was
the
something
process.
in between of that. I was thinking that maybe it was always an option. Like they always had it in the back of their head of we could do this if we wanted to. Like, let's see how it looks, where she keeps it on the whole time. And then
fully decided.
They fully committed to it. So like
that they did though.
Yeah.
It added to the story.
Oh yeah. When like so they're in like 4 and then like all of the dancers like vroop, and like 2 counts like all go into these 2 columns and she's like left in the middle, and it's like such a stark difference. And that's like right when she takes that body piece off too. So like she hides and takes off the body piece, and then when everyone like separates into those columns and she's left in the middle. And it was also the part where like it gets kind of like modern. The lyrics are like, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, right when she's left alone. And she does this like modern, like just very unconventional shapes with her body, and the whole team kind of does the same thing, like follows suit.
It was like raw
Yes.
and emotional. And that's what they said that they wanted this year. They said they're sharing a story that hits on an emotional level and a story that they hope everyone that can connect with, and not fitting in like I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, and I'm an outcast, I'm an outsider, and just like it was so fun like following this dancer.
Something that I find that they're very consistent in is highlighting their technique. And I don't even think they have to highlight it. It's just something that they naturally have, like through every movement, watching their feet and the way that they move their bodies and the lift that they have from like years of ballet training. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, stands out for sure.
In 6th place, we have College of Charleston. They didn't make finals last year.
When we talked to them before, they were like, this was a low point and we don't want it to happen again. So they
got a new choreographer. They described this dance as bold, unexpected, and definitely a risk they were excited to take. Their profile picture was a bull.
It was like a purple heart and a Tootsie Roll riding a bull.
Yes. So the bull that was on the profile picture is what Jazz was about, which was a matador theme. Super strong. I would describe this as a very bold theme too, especially like when you look at this and you're coming from the 3 places above them are all of these like classic lyricals. And then you have this like strong, fierce routine. It was choreographed by Ali Flegger. And they had these costumes that had like they were black, but they had a gold line up the sides of their pants and it went all the way up to their waistline. And it just really extended their lines. Like it matched their bold choreo of having this like bright gold line up both sides of their body to just accentuate all of these lines and shapes that they were making through this bold, fierce choreo.
Very true, like matador look. The lines were just incredible. It made them look like their legs just went for days.
And like matadors are so like lifted, like they have like their chests up in the air.
You know what it makes me think of? What's the ballroom dance that's like
Paso Doble?
Yes.
That's exactly what I think of every time.
And I love Paso Doble because it's just like fierce.
Well, because and that's
it's the dance
inspired from.
Bullfighting. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, so good. And they did an axel into their opens. Yeah, so fun and so hard to like land an axel on one leg and then keep turning and opens. And just a lot of like leg choreo. So we were curious like how much you have to know your costume before you're choreographing, but
especially if it's like a theme. Like, hey, we're going to be matadors. You got to have some idea, right?
And I feel like it was almost maybe like UVU with hip hop and Dietrich's choreo being very geometric and then putting lines on their pants. It's almost like you knew you were going to have this like intricate leg choreo and do a lot with that as far as the theme goes, that like having that line on the leg, it goes hand in hand.
Absolutely.
In 7th place, we have South Dakota. They also didn't make finals last year, so congrats to all of these teams. They danced to I Won't Complain by Benjamin Clementine. It was choreographed by Lauren Busen and Anna Kate Hermanson. Lauren Busen is the assistant coach for University of Minnesota dance team. Very cool partner work, cool lifts that they did in this dance, so lots of really fun moments there. Hofstra was in 8th place. They jumped up from 11th after semis, so way to go Hofstra fighting for that spot. They danced to Burn by Two Way and Etta Hayes. It was choreographed by Zach Galasso, and I would describe this as very strong dance team jazz. Kind of like we talked about, Hofstra always brings that consistent energy, that consistent strength, and this was no different. The great facials that you could read from all the way the back of the room. They project so well.
I feel like this was like slightly a different style for them, but still like true to like their strength.
Yeah.
They just performed it so well.
In 9th place, we have Villanova. Also not in finals last year. They danced to I Don't Want to Know by Tim Gallagher, choreographed by Ashley Casey. It was a very like ballet lyrical, and I love this. We'll talk about it more next week with D1A, but Ohio State's like ballet influences in their jazz routine this year.
Beautiful.
I'm really loving the ballet coming into jazz and just showing off all of the training that these dancers have and just the beauty that comes from ballet. I love seeing it become more mainstream.
I feel like ballet is very like it's being super emphasized by like college coaches, college choreographers. Like you must have ballet training if you want to make a team.
Yeah, it's not optional.
So shout out to Villanova for that and Ohio.
Yes, for bringing that out and like displaying it, not just like in the background, but I feel like bringing it to the forefront and having these sequences that are from ballet is really, really beautiful. And like we talked about earlier, we love variety, right? So like seeing something different in this category is so refreshing. In 10th, we have UC Santa Barbara. They danced to Wish You Well by Sigala and Becky Hill. choreographed by Caitlin Conley-Munn of Tribe 99. And they had very clean body guides in this dance. It was sharp, it was clean, and everyone's body was at the exact same angle. And
About the last few years, I've been using the term body guides, but I feel like not many people know it. So I feel like everybody knows what head guides are, but like where your head is looking. Specifically, like I learned about head guides from doing kick, and you might be doing a right open kick, but you're looking to the left, and that's a head guide. But like another term that I learned from one of my former co-coaches was body guides, and you do the same thing, and it's very specific about which direction your body is facing. So when a team has very strong body guides, or like if some team, which this team wasn't, but if a team is lacking in like being strong in which direction they're facing, you'd be like, okay, you guys need to work on your body guides. But this team, like, it's just so beautiful and just so strong and well done. Everybody was so intentional with where their body was facing.
yeah, and I love Caitlin's choreography. I feel like I've been watching her for a really long time, and it was fun to see her now on the Nationals floor. So beautiful choreography. In 11th is St. John's. They danced to Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind, and Fire, choreographed by Raven Gann and Izzy Perez. And this was one of my top 3 favorite routines from Nationals, one that I want to be in so badly. It does slightly have to do with the fact that this song was in Happy Feet, but I just love Happy Feet.
I will never get over that.
Happy Feet is such a fun movie. If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it.
The first time Shannon watched this dance, she goes, "This song was in Happy Feet."
That's what this song is to me now. It's the Happy Feet song, even though it's like a very classic song that's been around forever, much longer than Happy Feet. But and probably a lot of other.
I mean,
kids'
as a
movies.
dancer, I feel like a lot of dancers watch Happy Feet.
That's true.
Did you see the behind the scenes of the tappers?
Yes.
One of the guys that did the tapping for that movie, choreographed one of my tap routines.
No way. I wanted to be in this dance so badly, and I loved every single second of it. So just shout out to St. John's. My favorite part was when, and I will do it on camera, it's when you all stand and look at the camera and you bounce twice. So good.
If anybody's listening on Spotify, just
and then this
pull up
part is
the
my
YouTube.
my second favorite part. I think you guys are like this, and your one leg is out, and you go dun dun, and it's so clean. It's so clean, and I love hit and holds. Hit and holds again. In 12th place, we have Butler. First time their program has made it to finals. Go Butler. I'm like so excited for
the
all
video
of these
them
teams.
finding out and like celebrating together. Ugh, tears.
You could hear, it was so fun listening live too, of them announcing who was making it to finals. You could hear the team screaming in the background.
Harvard is one that stood out to me, and Butler is another one that stood out to me because it was just, they were like so happy.
You could hear the excitement. Yeah. They danced to Like You'll Never See Me Again by Alicia Keys, and it was choreographed by Quentin Perrone. Very stylized, lots of like arm rolls and body rolls, a very groovy lyrical.
Yeah, lots of power and just like strength, like coming out of their body and into their arms.
It was like waves. Like imagine like a slow wave that was rolling through. Very cool. Loved the style of it because it was so different.
You guys, so many good dances today. I feel like the overall vibe from Division 1 was there was a lot of movement. Like in all 3 of these categories, how many times did we say they weren't in finals last year? They weren't in finals last year. They came up from 6th last year and won it. So much movement, which makes the Division 1 division like so exciting, and like you're on the edge of your seat. You're
it's
like,
unpredictable.
What's going to happen this year?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I love the unpredictability of Division 1, and I like we've been talking about this whole time. The theme was like variety and how much creativity there is in this division and how much innovation they bring. And I think that's why there's so much movement, is because they're constantly like pushing the bar of creativity.
Like, what is something different that we can do? Different does well.
Well, and it's about like not being afraid to do that. The opportunities are endless. We appreciate you all not being afraid, being fearless, being brave, and showing us your versatility and showing us something new, regardless of how it does. It was really fun to watch.
Beautiful.
Dances again.
Wow.
I could watch them over and over again.
I wanted to give a shout out to Jackson O'Brien from Stockton. I, in last week's episode, called him Male Dancer in talking about the hip hop, and he listened to the episode and screen recorded the episode and posted on his story, and he said, "Hi, it's me. I'm Male Dancer." So I wanted to shout him out by name. So hi, Jackson. I hope you're listening to Division 1 too. And then correction. So I believe last week we said Mankato was back-to-back-to-back champions in POM 3 years in a row. We were wrong. They are back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back champions in POM.
Yes.
Thank you to Grace Reel for pointing that out and for listening. I appreciate you keeping us honest. And I want to encourage people to do that. Like, if we say something and you know we're wrong, like, tell us, because like this podcast, we want to bring like facts to you, and we try to do that as best as possible, but we're human. We're gonna like make slip ups. If you ever hear something and you're like, no, you're wrong, comment. Like,
we absolutely
tell
own
us
it when
that we're wrong.
Yeah, we want to
Like,
know, because we're, like we said, like, we're learning too, and that helps us learn. It helps everyone learn. It helps this whole community.
we're relying on like our own research, but
and we get it straight from the source. Like, get it. We're not like getting it secondhand,
like
like
hearsay or anything.
But like you said, there's just human error that happens when we're like looking for the results and doing our research.
Keep us honest.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And it's fun to hear that they've won 5 years in a row.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That team is phenomenal.
And we are almost at 500 active listeners, and we're not even 2 months in, and 70 subscribers across Spotify and YouTube. So if you're not already, do all of the things. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, share on everything. Seriously, everything. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and tell your friends, tell your teammates, tell your family about the podcast. We want to be able to keep creating this for you. We're having so much fun doing it, and we've heard such wonderful notes from our dedicated listeners, and we're so grateful for you guys. And now just help us push it just a little bit further. We have a goal of 100 subscribers by the 2-month mark, and that is on February 15th. And we're close to 70 right now. And if you are a frequent flyer of the podcast and you're not already following us,
what are you doing?
It takes 1 second. And guess what? Every time we post a new episode, you just get a little push notification, and that's it.
Just a little hello from us every week.
Just a little hello. I know we say it every week, but like truly it means so much to us, and it's so helpful. All right, you guys, 2 down, 1 more to go. If you haven't already, go listen to Open. Next week, we will have Division 1A.
Thanks for breaking down Division I Nationals 2026 with us.
We'll catch you back here next week for all things college dance. This has been
8 Count Breakdown.